Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. We're on the 3.5 Monster Manual on the Will-O-Wisp, or Wisp, or Witchlight, or whatever you call it. And essentially, it's a fibrous spear that glows, resembling a lantern or light at a distance, and it lures people in with that. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get something to use as a flight stand. And maybe wire would have been a better choice. I'm going to cut 3 flight stands of different heights. I'm going to mount 3 to my board. I'm going to do, they are something called a string of wisps. And I want to capture that idea. Okay, so I'm going to get some glue here. And just kind of create a little area to stick my what do you call it in. Now it's about 32 degrees in here, so it's not one of the warmer days in the shop. And I can't figure, everybody's sleeping, and I don't want to ask where the space heaters are, so we're going to just do this cold. I think maybe someone we know needed a space heater. I can't remember though, but I know we have some, so I just don't know where. So to get started, I'm going to get this on a base so I can hold it to work on it. And I'm going to get my things kind of in position. I'm going to get some super glue. And run that down the base. I'm going to get a little more on there. I'm going to make sure they're straight as I can get them. And they're pretty straight for the most part. So once I get them where I want them, I'm going to sprinkle some baking soda in place. I moved this one at the last minute, so I'm going to have to relocate that a little bit. That's okay. All right. Now, we are going to have to add a little bit of weight to this base, and to do that, I'm just going to get some small stones in there. And I'm going to sprinkle some baking soda in the middle. I'm going to get some small stones and sprinkle them around in that area. And I think this should be pretty good for what I'm trying to do here. Get a couple more back on there. Actually, you know what? We can come back for that. So what we want to do is you want to get the glue to soak in and mount those stones into that baking soda. Okay. And I think that should be good. I am going to sprinkle a little more baking soda on top to try to dry everything off and lock it all together. But I don't want to go overboard and lose any texture those rocks may have had. And everything should be sturdy at that point. All right. I'm going to put my little rocks away. And I got some beads. Let's see if we can find some that'll work. So they're about 1 foot in diameter. So let's see if we can just kind of find 3 small beads that will work. There's one. That's not very round. And I don't want mine to be the exact same size. I'm trying to find some different little kind of sizes to work with here. All right, here we go. Oops. I'm going to do my biggest one as the tallest one. This does have a little bit of a flat side on it, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. Let's see if I can actually fit that right on there. I can. All right, that's going to be good. I'm going to get a little bit of glue. I'm going to shove it down in there. Now there's a little bit of a flat spot on top of that bead. I'm just going to get that and smooth it out a little bit. Okay. Now these ones are not going to fit on the popsicle sticks, or on the, what do you call them? So I'm just going to get a dab of glue and stick it there for now. Then we're going to come back with some baking soda and super glue and see what can be done. All right, that one's pretty tall. I'm going to snip that one off. I'm going to do this one too, a little bit shorter. Now, I actually have heard a lot of real life stories about witch lights. I served in the army with a dude who swears these are real. Or will-o-wisps, I should say. Witch lights. They're not called witch lights. It's just something that I've heard them called in real life. But, yeah, so I served with 2 different guys in the army, but one really had a lot of stories about these. So there was like an old farm building, or it wasn't really a farm, it was like an old, somebody's like house that was abandoned that had a lot of land around it, and it was real foggy there all the time, and they would see these from the road, and when they were teenagers they used to try to catch them. Something like that I think would do good. So we want to get a little bit of texture on those, and I'm not sure how we're going to paint these exactly, but we're gonna get texture on them and see if we can't hide that these are just rubber or beads. So 2 of these are glass, and one of these is like wood. Okay. And we want to get it down onto the flight stand a little bit to make sure we have a good bond, and that way these aren't going to pop off during play. Nice. This is going well. I shouldn't have said that, but I did. Now, one of my big fears is that using spray paint in here is just not going to work right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some black. And a small brush that I can paint these with. And we're going to do it this way. And this will give me a nice excuse to use the +2 hot air gun of burning and warm my little hands. Actually, I have very big hands. I should not have said little hands because that sounds awkward and weird. Sorry. So tonight is the 2nd installment of Doom Venture, and anyone is welcome to come. Just join our Discord. It's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be running another part of the adventure, and since we just started last week, there's plenty of room for people to join and have fun. And it's just, we had a nice time last week. We really did. Didn't get a whole lot accomplished because there were some growing pains. It was the first episode, or not episode. We're not, it's not something that I'm broadcasting. But it was cool. If you've never played any tabletop RPGs before, this might be a nice start for you because I'm very lax about how we're doing the rules and stuff, and it's more based on having fun. So if you wanted to get a feel for what a role-playing game could be, this could be your opportunity. Bum bum ba doo 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 dum dum. Okay. So, according to the book, will-o-wisps can be different colors. Yellow, white, green, or blue. So let's start with lightening these up a little bit. And to do that, we're just going to get some crusty old cardboard and a soft makeup brush and some white paint. That'll start lightening this up enough to where we can see what we're doing. Okay. And I think we've lightened them up a fair bit. So let's start with the rocks and the base, because I think that'll be the easiest part. We can have that done and out of the way. I'm going to get some pavement here. I have two pavements. This is an older one that's almost empty, and it's actually kind of thin. So I think this will be good for what I want to do here. I'm just going to get a little brush. That's too small. I'm going to get, where's my regiment brush? I'm going to get a little brush here. Stuck it in my mouth and got it damp. I'm going to paint these rocks with it. This is a Army Painter brush, and they don't sponsor me or anything. No one does. I'm just like a dude in my basement. And that's even not 100% true. I am not a professional crafter or painter or modeler, but I have been doing it for many, many years for fun. And I do own half of DungeonSwag.com, amazing miniature service where you can get a monthly box sent to your house with beautiful high quality minis. And that we also sell one-offs on there too. So if you were interested in just picking out some of the models or some of the sets that you really like, we can do that. We want those rocks to look nice. Then I'm going to take that same brush and some dark brown and do the rest of the base. And I'm going to do the flight stands last. We've had some hiccups. We were going to get our Christmas tree up and we didn't get it up. So today we're going to have to get that up. And I didn't make a video yesterday. I got called out to one of my sites. And I ended up not getting home till being late for our own game night. And nobody was mad at me. So that was good. Okay. Just going to rinse out that brush quickly. I'll leave plastic bristle brushes sitting in water, but I try not to do that with real hair brushes. Dooms noticed that my hands always look all beat up in the videos and asked me about it. Yeah, my hands always do look beat up. I'm not afraid to jump in the hole next to somebody or, you know, drop a press or whatever anybody else that works with me is doing. I also used to semi-professionally fight, and so I've broken a lot of fingers and stuff over the years. And I play guitar, so I have calluses, and just in general, crafting and not being careful. So yeah, my hands are kind of beat up and horrible, but I like them just fine, except for the arthritis part. All right, so we're going to start with the yellow. I'm going to do my smallest, which light and yellow. And my suspicion is this will take a couple coats, but we don't know. And I want it to be much lighter than this. I'm using this as like the basis to get it yellow, and then I'm going to make some lighter yellows to go over it. Okay. I'm going to set this off to the side and hit it with the air gun real quick. I'm going to do it again. Sorry, there's a brush in my mouth, dudes. So the holiday season's on us here, and it's almost time for the Hanukkahs and the Christmases and such, and all the other holidays this time of year. And I'm interested. We still, you know, even though I'm older and stuff, we still buy presents for the adults in our family. Like my brother's an adult, obviously. His fiance is an adult. We still buy adult gifts. And I'm under the impression some people don't. So if you guys are interested in telling me down below the video, do you buy adult gifts still? Like if your kids are adults, do you still make them come over on Christmas? I mean, my adult sons don't have kids yet, but do you make them come over on holidays and suffer your rituals to get their gifts and stuff, or even buy them anything at all? I'm just curious because I do that still. Like you come to my house Christmas Eve, you play the game, you wake up in the morning with the little boys, and you get Christmas presents. That's how I do that. Santa Claus brings them. Okay. Now we're going to switch to like green. We'll do the next one up in green. And we're just going to take our time so we don't get it all over a yellow one. I'm not sure if we're going to need 2 coats with this. It looks like it's covering it pretty good. But we'll see in a minute. Ultimately, we would hope we don't get any on that yellow. In my humble, uneducated opinion, I think we can do that in one coat. We're not done with that paint, but I am going to set it to the side. Had I been smarter, I would have spaced those out a little better so it would have been easier to work with. But I didn't, and that's my fault. I'm going to lighten that up. And I'm not hitting this perfectly, if you haven't noticed, because perfectly is kind of not my thing. If you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, I am a lazy painter. Now, if you go on the Discord, I'm sure you can find some paint jobs that don't look like lazy paint jobs, but they're probably older. I've done a couple recently, actually, now that I think about it, that have not been super lazy. But in general, I'm a very lazy painter. Sometimes I just like to paint stuff for me for fun, and I do put a little more effort in, but most of the time, I'm in a hurry. All right, so for my last but not least, I'm going to use blue. Let's get our blue one going. This color is called Caribbean, or Caribbean, depending on how you like to pronounce it. Or maybe Caribbean. I don't know if we're going to get this one in one coat. It looks a little thin. Should use that electric blue or whatever it is. The other, it's got a little thicker. That is my belly. Holy crap, I should have ate first. But I wanted to get down here before everybody was up. I played a couple games of that new Marvel Rivals, then came down here. I'm just now hearing pitter patters of feet. We played pretty late last night in our tabletop game. And my oldest son stayed the night because I think we played just too late to go home. So he's sleeping in the living room. So I hope the little boys jump up and down on him and smush him good. Get a nice light blue, and then we'll do this one too. Now, after you clear coat this, my recommendation would be to paint the witch lights or will-o-wisps or whatever you're calling them. I would paint them with a gloss to like give off the illusion that they're kind of shiny. And another thing I would do is whichever way you think you're going to orientate the miniature to is the front. Oh my gosh, on camera, these look much darker than they are. Okay, so in real life, these are not this vivid. They are very subdued. But you know what? That's not a problem here. I'm going to airbrush or air gun these again real quick, and we're going to fix that so that on camera they look lighter. And what we'll do is we'll just get a makeup brush or a small plastic brush. Something like this will work. Or we'll just use a little bit of white and touch these up around to lighten them up some. But in real life, they do not look that bright. I just looked through the phone and saw it, and I was like, holy crap. Absolute crap. It still looks ridiculously bright on camera for some reason. That's insane. Yeah, they still look pretty bright on camera. They are not that bright. They're like pretty subdued. Maybe when I take the photos of them later, they'll look better. All right, I'm going to get this medium gray with that little bit of white I have. Hit these rocks lightly. Let me get a little bit of that white I had there mixed in with that. I'm just going to touch the tops of this a little bit more because I can, because I want to. Make it a medium brown. Any of the spots where I got a little bit of that gray and white onto the base of the brown part, I'm just going to wipe this over that and create a little variation and try to make it look natural. But I wanted the white, the rocks to look a little bright because I wanted it to kind of look like the witch lights were reflecting off of them. And I should have done a little bit of color in there, but I'm super lazy, like I told you. Super lazy. All right, one last step here on our witch lights. Will-o-wisps, sorry. I'm going to get some black and do the flight stands. I'm going to be real careful so it doesn't splatter anywhere. This is a little bit thin, and I don't want this to get on my balls, on my lights. And in a pinch, you could use these as like a weird plant in the Underdark or something if you wanted. So there you go. If you're like, I'm never using a will-o-wisp as an enemy, but I feel obligated to make the entire monster manual. So they are an air, they speak Orin, which is like the language of air elementals. But I don't think they're actually elementals. I think they're like an aberration. I have to look in the book. I'm not sure. Oh, I have it closed. I was going to check, but I already closed it up. I'm just carefully getting in there, darkening up those flight stands. So there's a true contrast of where flight stand and model end. Now, you're not going to do perfect on this kind of stuff every time, especially something like this, where I probably should have painted these independently and then stuck them to the flight stand afterwards. I could have pre-drilled holes and had it kind of set up. I didn't do that. I'm lazy. But that would have been probably the smarter way to do this, truthfully. Okay. Now, we could put a little flock on there, but I don't think it's going to add much to the miniature. It's just adding another step that we don't need to add. So I'd like to tell you I'm going to clear coat it. I'm going to paint those with gloss, Mod Podge, and then I'm going to call it a win. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, leave a comment, go to the website and buy some miniatures. Not these miniatures, Dungeon Swag miniatures. And join us on Discord to hang out with us, role play, play video games, and share work with each other. Hey, thanks for watching.